Imagine discovering proof that an advanced civilization flourished thousands of years before the pyramids, and then vanished beneath the sea in a single day and night. It sounds like science fiction. Yet for more than 2,000 years, the legend of Atlantis has captivated philosophers, historians, explorers, and scientists alike. Entire expeditions have searched for it. Countless books have claimed to reveal its location. Even today, satellite images and underwater discoveries regularly spark headlines asking the same question: what if Atlantis was real? But separating fact from fiction is far more fascinating than the myth itself. To understand Atlantis, we must return not to the ocean, but to ancient Greece, where the story first appeared. The earliest known account of Atlantis comes from the Greek philosopher Plato, writing around 360 BCE in two dialogues, Timaeus and Critias. According to Plato, Atlantis was a mighty island nation located beyond the Pillars of Heracles, generally understood today as the Strait of Gibraltar. Plato described Atlantis as astonishingly advanced. It possessed magnificent temples, concentric rings of land and water, sophisticated engineering, fertile farmland, and a powerful navy that ruled much of the known world. The Atlanteans had grown wealthy and technologically impressive, but there was a problem. As their prosperity increased, their morality declined. Plato wrote that they became greedy, arrogant, and corrupt. In response, the gods judged Atlantis, and in a single day and night of misfortune, earthquakes and floods caused the entire island to sink beneath the sea. It is one of history's most dramatic stories, but here's where things become intriguing. Plato is the only ancient source to describe Atlantis in such detail. No Egyptian inscription has ever been found mentioning Atlantis. No Greek historian before Plato wrote about it. No contemporary civilization recorded the destruction of a vast island empire. This has led many scholars to ask an uncomfortable question: was Plato inventing the story? Many historians believe Atlantis was never intended as literal history. Instead, it functioned as a philosophical allegory, a cautionary tale about the dangers of pride, imperial ambition, and moral decay. Throughout his writings, Plato frequently used fictional dialogues to illustrate political and ethical ideas. Atlantis may simply have been his greatest teaching story. Yet the mystery refuses to disappear. Why? Because certain parts of Plato's description resemble real historical disasters. One of the strongest candidates is the volcanic eruption on the island of Thera, known today as Santorini, around the 17th or 16th century BCE. Modern geological evidence confirms that this was one of the largest volcanic eruptions in human history. The explosion devastated the island, generated massive tsunamis across the eastern Mediterranean, and blanketed nearby regions with volcanic ash. Archaeological excavations reveal that an advanced Bronze Age civilization once thrived there before catastrophe struck. Many researchers associate this civilization with the Minoans of Crete. The Minoans were remarkably sophisticated. They built multi-story palaces, developed complex plumbing systems, engaged in international trade, and created vibrant frescoes unlike anything else in Europe at the time. Their maritime power dominated much of the Aegean Sea. When the Thera eruption occurred, enormous waves likely damaged coastal settlements and disrupted trade networks. Although the Minoan civilization did not vanish overnight, the disaster weakened it significantly before later invasions completed its decline. Could memories of this catastrophe have survived for centuries, eventually inspiring Plato's Atlantis? Some scholars consider this possible, although no direct evidence connects the Minoans with Plato's account. Others have proposed completely different locations. Over the years, Atlantis has been placed near Spain, in the Atlantic Ocean, beneath Antarctica, around the Azores, in the Caribbean, and even under the Sahara Desert when it contained ancient lakes. Each theory captures public imagination, yet every proposed location encounters the same obstacle. There is no archaeological evidence confirming the existence of Plato's powerful island empire exactly as he described it. This absence of evidence has not stopped the search. Advances in underwater archaeology have revealed remarkable submerged cities around the world, not Atlantis, but genuine lost settlements swallowed by rising seas, earthquakes, or coastal erosion. Ancient ports now rest beneath the Mediterranean. Prehistoric landscapes lie underwater in the North Sea. Entire communities disappeared as sea levels rose after the last ice age. These discoveries remind us that legends of drowned cities are not impossible. Human civilizations have repeatedly faced catastrophic floods and changing coastlines throughout history. Could one such event have evolved into the legend of Atlantis? Perhaps. Another fascinating possibility involves human memory itself. Across many cultures, stories describe great floods that destroyed entire civilizations. From Mesopotamian epics to ancient Indian traditions and other flood narratives around the world, catastrophic water disasters appear again and again. Historians suggest these stories may preserve cultural memories of real natural events passed down through generations before eventually becoming myth. If so, Atlantis may represent less a single city and more a universal warning encoded in storytelling. Then there is the question of technology. Modern popular culture often portrays Atlantis as possessing crystal power, flying machines, or futuristic science far beyond our own. However, none of these ideas appear in Plato's original writings. These extraordinary claims emerged much later, especially during the 19th century and through 20th century esoteric movements. They reflect modern imagination rather than ancient historical evidence. This distinction is important. The historical Atlantis described by Plato was impressive, but still recognizably a Bronze Age civilization, not a science fiction superpower. So, after centuries of searching, where does the evidence leave us? The answer is surprisingly balanced. There is no verified archaeological proof that Atlantis existed exactly as Plato described. Most classicists continue to regard the account as philosophical literature rather than historical documentation. At the same time, geology confirms that advanced ancient civilizations were devastated by earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, and rising seas. Archaeology continues uncovering settlements once thought impossible to find beneath the ocean. Reality, it seems, is already extraordinary. Perhaps the greatest mystery of Atlantis is not whether one island disappeared beneath the waves. It is why the story continues to resonate across cultures and centuries. Maybe Atlantis represents humanity's deepest fear, that even the greatest civilizations are fragile. Wealth cannot guarantee survival. Technology cannot conquer nature forever. Power without wisdom eventually collapses under its own weight. History repeatedly reinforces this lesson. From once mighty empires that crumbled through internal decay to cities abandoned after environmental disasters, civilizations rise, flourish, and sometimes disappear with astonishing speed. Whether Atlantis was a real kingdom, a distant memory transformed into legend, or Plato's masterful philosophical creation, its message remains timeless. The lost city may never be found, but its warning has never truly been lost.